Your team dominates possession but can't create scoring chances. This 6 against 6 position game will change that. By the end of this video, you know exactly how to coach your players to unlock any defense. Let me show you how. You will learn 3 concepts how to unlock the defense. First, exploiting the space around the opposing number 6. Second, how to play between the opposing fullback and center back. And third, how to utilize early crossing. But first, let's take a closer look on the setup of this exercise. We have our team playing 1-4-4-2 against a defending team playing 1-4-3-3. We're working on our top 6 players, so our midfielders, our wingers and our 2 strikers, or number 9 and number 10. The opponent is playing low block and we are emphasizing on box entries and finishing. I have chosen 3 principles we can work on: bravery on the ball, balance of individual and team, and clear desire to score. And we have a method how we coach each player, but that on later in this video. First, let's dive in the 3 main methods we want to use to break the defense. Okay, first one, exploiting the space around number 6. So when the opponent is playing with 1-4-3-3, they usually have 1 defensive midfielder, but also for the sake of the drill being realistic, we don't want equal numbers here, so we don't want the second midfielder, because then it would go fight ball and it's much better to play with +1 attacking player. So we want to exploit the space around number 6, which means these spaces. We don't want to go wide if we can go in middle and hurt the opponent more effectively. How you do that? Well, multiple ways. Most common way is that your 1 midfielder is pushing up closer to the opposing defending line and maybe giving penetrating passes or even shooting around 20 meters. Another way to exploit the space is to one of the attackers to drop a bit. This forces the direct opponent to choose, okay, do I follow, which would leave space behind him, and we can maybe exploit the space by deep run and maybe a bit chip. Or if the center back doesn't follow, which often happens because the opponent doesn't want to leave space behind, because it's much more dangerous if the opponent is going behind. So what usually happens is that when one of the attackers drop near number 6, the center back is not following, so we can play easy pass and usually the attacker can turn and we can progress from there. One more way is that our winger is cutting inside. Of course we want to keep width, but sometimes, let's say you have number 11, let's say you rotated the ball, circulate the ball here, and number 6 is pressing. So maybe sometimes you want your strikers to keep the center backs busy, and maybe your number 11 is coming inside. So the direct opponent is thinking, ooh, what am I going to do? Do I follow? And again, that would create space behind him. Or maybe he stays and we can play small diagonal ball. Again, the space around the 6, and we can progress from there, either dribbling or going for a shot or a small penetrative pass behind the defenders. So that's our first method. So we want to exploit the space around number 6. Okay, the second method is playing between number 2 and number 3, obviously also between number 4 and 5. So playing between center back and the fullback. What we want to do, we can sometimes play the ball more far away. So let's say our number 10 is dropping a bit. Let's say the number 4 is slightly following. Let's say our number 7 is dropping, making him available. You can just play on the ground or lob the ball around here. So maybe number 7 is pulling the fullback a bit away from his position, and then he makes a quick turn and you play the ball between the center back and fullback around the corner of the box, and there you can either dribble, go for a shot, or you can deliver a cross on the goal. So I would say this is the most common pass behind the opposing backline, playing it between the center back and the fullback. Also, sometimes it can be difficult to play that pass from this far away. So the first method, so exploiting space around number 6, is very useful here, because usually you want to get a player around these areas before you play that pass. So it can happen in multiple ways, as we explained previously. Let's say the number 6 is pressing, maybe R6 dribbles pass, maybe it's difficult to go there. He plays maybe here, or number 8, and from here, when we are closer, we maybe make a small pass, maybe a little chip over defender's foot, and again exploit this space or line between the fullback and center back. And again, it's around here. Every time when you play from this path, it usually is around the corner of the penalty box where the ball ends and where the run should go. So it's almost every time the same spot, the same place. So you can easily visualize and teach that. And what we often see, I think it's really common that we see players to pass on a wrong direction or in a wrong line. Let me explain what I mean. It so often happens that, let's say we get our number 6 or number 8 is here and the opponent is near the penalty box, low block. And what we so often see that the number 7 is going for the run and our number 6 is, for some odd reason, I have no idea, but it happens most of the time, is playing the ball here. Like, what are you doing? This happens all the time. All the time. Teach players to pass. Oops, that's for running. Teach players to pass between the center back and fullback. So here. So the winger can run, and it's so much more difficult for defenders to defend. Small pass with slight speed between the center back and fullback. And again, it's around the same area, inside the box, the corner. And what's beautiful with this pass is that the defenders must run towards their goal. Even if they get the ball first, they usually face it to their own goal. And we have pressure coming, it's no easy situation. You often get a corner or a throw-in, or sometimes you can press it and recover it and get the ball again. And also, it's important that, okay, you would think, sometimes you would think that, okay, it's better to try play between the center backs. Someone might think, okay, why don't you play between the center backs? You can go straight to goal. But the problem with that is that when you play, okay, sometimes when there is space, yeah, it's okay. But the problem usually is that when you play between the center backs, the ball goes to goalkeeper. It's much more difficult pass to play between the center backs because the goalkeeper is there. So playing here, it's much more far away from the keeper, and it's also better angle for our players to run. So rule number 2, or actually it should be rule number 1 for the passer, to play between the fullback and, okay, number 3, early crosses. Sometimes the opponent is defending well, happens, suck, not fun, I said. Sometimes you need to deal with it. So what we need to do, most common situation is that your winger, let's say our left winger, has the ball. Okay, he's maybe trying to play between the fullback and center back, and for some reason there's no space and defenders are playing. But we are already so close to opposing box that we can exploit it by early crosses. And it's almost the same area than number 1 exploiting space on number 6. So when we get the ball here, let's say it's a right-footed left winger. So he can easily, let's say number 8 is the 11 is dropping, number 2 is not following, number 8 plays the ball to number 11, maybe he dribbles a bit, can't for some reason, maybe there is support and the opponent is playing really compact. So what we can do is that number 11 can slightly shift the ball to his right foot and again not too close to the goalkeeper. So we don't want the ball here. No, it's always on the keeper. But we want the ball a bit further away. So let's say here. So it's difficult for the keeper when the winger is crossing with his right foot, something like this. And the goalkeeper must, of course, watch the ball. And now the beauty. It can be either a second striker, maybe doing slightly curved run, or opposing winger, tick, 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 running at the back post area. So the goalkeeper needs to watch the ball, and it's his or her like blind side, and our attackers can come with high speed. And also the keeper needs to be in the near post, because let's say it could also happen that okay, number 11 is maybe dribbling a bit inside and maybe playing pass inside the box, and number 9 is sliding behind the center back, so the keeper must be there to defend that ball also. So your winger might feint, okay, he might look, okay, maybe I dribble and maybe play that pass, but boom, he shifts and then bends the ball at the back area, and the goalkeeper needs to turn, and it's not easy for the keeper to catch that ball if it comes far enough. So that's really good way to utilize early crosses from this area. Also, you can do it with different players. The most common one is that your wing has the ball around there in front of the fullback. But you can also use that cross if your midfielder has the ball, or even one of the strikers. So let's say for somehow you manage to get your 6 in the space at the side of the opposing number 6. So let's say maybe here. Here you can also have the same logic that, okay, let's say your number 7 is doing the run, so we have this option to play inside the box. So the keeper must anticipate that pass, so he needs to position somewhere out here. But here, what you can also do, you can lift the ball nicely. Let's see, make some space. You can lift the ball nicely, the same area. It's a bit different technique, of course, but the same logic. Here, lift the ball, and again, it can be our second striker doing a bit of a curved run, or it can be our number 11 who is making the run, and the ball comes and bam, finishing to top corner. So here are the 3 methods you can use and which are super effective to unlock the defense. And some principles I like to implement in this kind of setup. First one is bravery on the ball. So enhancing the idea of players to take responsibility, take shots, dribble. Let's say you want your midfielders to dribble past the press, or you want number 11 to take the ball and cut inside, look for a small pass. So players need to be brave, they need to take control of the ball. Also, something really important, balance of individual and team. This is a classic example of when players sometimes only try to solve it by themselves, only go solo, or some players all the time try to pass and never take responsibility. So here, of course, sometimes it's okay for the winger to take the ball, go one-on-one and let's say cross. Or sometimes for your winger to go one-on-one, go outside, cross, or sometimes go inside, go for a shot or sometimes play 1-2 with striker. And that's the balance you want to find. That sometimes it's better to go solo and take responsibility, and sometimes it's smarter to use another player to create the situation. And finally, a clear desire to score. We want to see shots. We want to see that when there's a cross, we want players inside the box to score. We want, if someone is going for a shot, the second one is going for a rebound. We really want to see players desire and that we want to score and win the game. And finally, as you maybe recognized how I explained all the three methods, we want to be smart on sequence. We're coaching the players because usually it's like a snowball. You need something to happen before something else can happen. So it's smart to first work with your midfielders, then work with your wingers, work with your midfielders, then work with your wingers, and then work with your strikers. So first midfielders do what they're supposed to do, then wingers, so then you have these and this, and lastly the strikers. Okay, that's it for today's video. And if you like drills like this and breakdowns and the way I explained it, check the link down in the description and join Football Coaching Hub, where we share plenty of these and plenty of principles how to coach brave, fast and competitive players. See you in the next video.